Good morning, and welcome to Sentinel High School. I'm Mary DeMorris, Editor-in-Chief of the school newspaper, The Kona, and lead anchor for our weekly news broadcast, Spartan TV. Today's episode of The Route is to highlight the journalism department at Sentinel, explain our partnerships with Missoula Community Access Television, the University of Montana School of Journalism, and PBS NewsHour student reporting labs in Washington, D.C. To begin, let's take a look at our program. Next year, we plan to kick off our Digital Media Academy at Sentinel High School.
Parker Lund, news desk editor of the Sentinel Kona.
And I'm Mary DeMorris, lead anchor and editor-in-chief of the Sentinel Kona, the school newspaper.
We're students in the Sentinel High School Digital Media Academy. Our academy is an experiential learning model which allows students to explore careers in digital media fields, take industry-related field trips, and job shadow professionals. In the future, our academy plans to have industry-related internships and externships, as well as incorporate capstone projects into our curriculum.
Let's go take a look. Welcome to the Journalism Lab. In here we work on the newspaper, the yearbook, broadcast, and introduction to radio audio. Our publications have won numerous awards, both state and national.
As a part of our academy, students can even earn college credit through both the University of Montana Mountain Campus and Missoula College. Currently, students can enroll in dual credit opportunities in both broadcast radio journalism, as well as a media history and literacy course. Although occasionally we go to the university to learn from university professors, most of the learning takes place here at Sentinel.
Next year, students will have additional dual credit opportunities through the School of Media Arts. These dual credit offerings give students the chance to finish college sooner and makes college more affordable.
We're building a professional broadcast studio thanks in part to our partnership with Missoula Community Access Television. This enables students to gain real-world experience with real-world equipment.
When it comes to working together, our academy takes collaboration to a whole new level. Academy students are learning the latest in digital film, radio and TV broadcast, and graphic and print design. Not only as part of our own curriculum, but to help other students in the school. The vision is to one day be able to bring students from other schools and classes together and run workshops and become a creative and productive educational part of the community.
Preparation for our future starts every day at Sentinel. In our academy, we complete capstone projects like service learning experiences, in-depth research, or other final projects. Our capstone projects always line up with our intended field of journalism, including broadcast, audio, media, and video design.
Students will also have the opportunity to join the Design Lab, a student-run organization that serves MCPS and the Missoula community with print, web, and video services. In addition, our Business and Technology CTE program is aligned with college and career readiness standards, as well as the need of employers, industry, and labor. There is also the opportunity for students to take an internationally recognized exam to become an Adobe Certified Associate. This lab will be moving to the 500 building next year. It houses digital film effects, 3D modeling and animation, computer science, and photojournalism. Students in the academy have the unique experience of working with professionals in the industry. Currently, we have a partnership with PBS NewsHour in Washington, D.C., as well as Montana PBS. Students are paired with professional mentors to produce and write packages for the national stage. Last year, our pieces were aired nationally over 4 times, and we received awards from both PBS and the Journalism Education Association.
Teachers have begun developing different projects that are implemented throughout the school year. These interdisciplinary projects incorporate the best of the program Sentinel has to offer. This fall will be the official launch of our Digital Media Academy, where our mission is to provide students with a hands-on experience in digital storytelling in the fields of radio, film and television, photojournalism and animation, computer programming, print and broadcast journalism, web and graphic design.
As you can see, we have many opportunities to offer students here at Sentinel High School.
We hope you've enjoyed our tour and look forward to seeing you in our academy someday.
We plan to kick off this spring with a full-scale launch in the fall. This year, our journalism department was asked to make a school-wide video to highlight what Sentinel has to offer to incoming freshmen and their parents. The following video was written by Chloe Gendro and Dylan Meyer, filmed by Stefan Laird, and edited and produced by Michaela Gornick.
Four, three, two, one.
For Spartan TV, I'm Hamilton Clement.
And I'm Mary DeMorris. Have a great day, Sentinel.
That's a wrap.
I've never read a paper I didn't like. I cut my fingers on a page of the yearbook, and we are proud of our address. At Sentinel High, aspiring journalist.
With the help of Missoula Community Access Television, we have been building a professional studio at Sentinel High School. This partnership started this fall, and while we're still in the beginning stages of our program, we have been able to produce an almost weekly news show that airs for the entire student body. The program, Spartan TV, airs on Thursdays, runs approximately 15 minutes, and is part news, part sports, and part entertainment media. We've compiled some of our news packages from the first semester of work.
Last week was Spirit Week for Sentinel High School. All the students had the option to dress up in crazy outfits to represent their class. We interviewed some people and asked how their Spirit Week went.
I think it went pretty good, but some people didn't dress up, so.
Wonderful. I think it went amazing.
I think it went really well for everyone. Everyone enjoyed it.
I think Spirit Week was a lot of fun for students. I think that we've seen more spirit this week than we have in the past. And I think that students were, for the most part, they were appropriate. They complied when we had safety issues or, dress code issues. And everybody, for the most part, was completely appropriate. And it was a lot of fun.
I thought it went really well. A lot of spirit, a lot of fun. It's wonderful every day.
Gotta dress up ridiculous and have fun.
Spirit Week always seems to be a fun time for most students, not just at Sentinel, but at every school. It is a chance for students to express themselves, as well as show their school spirit. Sentinel was very enthusiastic with their spirit, and the students seem like they are looking forward to next year's. Signing off from Spartan News, I'm reporter
MCAT, or Missoula Community Access Television, has found a new home here at Sentinel High. Our school's been selected to help lead the development of their education outreach program and extend the access to broadcast journalism for the Missoula public.
Well, in the partnership that we have with MCAT that we're just forming this year, they have donated $50,000 worth of equipment and personnel to work directly with the students to help them with broadcasting and filmmaking and learning all of the technology that goes along with that. In terms of their relationship to us, they were looking for someone to partner with, and they had actually seen some of the journalism students out in the field working and thought, you know, Sentinel High School might be a good place to start in terms of building a studio for students.
I guess my contribution to the MCAT program is just being a student and getting to learn all the equipment and having the experience of working in kind of a real life situation of broadcast television. I really hope this collaboration with MCAT and Sentinel works out, because I think working in a live studio is such a big part of what broadcast journalism is now, that before we even go into college, I think that learning those steps and learning that process is going to be really important for future journalism students, and I think it's really great that Sentinel has this opportunity.
Well, there you have it, Sentinel. I think we've all been given a great opportunity and can be excited for what's to come from this partnership with MCAT. Signing off from Spartan News, I'm Dylan Meyer.
This year, the passing period between classes was shortened from 7 minutes to 5 minutes, leaving students and teachers frustrated and wanting their 7 minutes back.
Senior Tyler Rickmeyer says the change is making him late repeatedly.
They're garbage. I'm late to third period every single day because I can't possibly make it from the 500 buildings up to the history hallway in 5 minutes, and really getting me a lot of detention, so not liking it.
Students aren't the only ones being affected. Teachers are having issues of their own.
Well, at first it took a lot of adjustments because I was not used to that. I felt like I needed some more time. But over the several weeks, I'm getting used to it, but I am spending more time probably after school working on things that I might have quickly done between passing periods.
Dean Libby Oliver was key in the decision-making process behind the time change.
That was a decision that went to the staff. We talked about it in our staff meetings, and ultimately that decision was made by the principal, vice principal, and dean.
Oliver told us the time wouldn't be changed this year.
5 minutes is plenty of time to leave from one to the other. We have, it has decreased the number of incidents we have in the hall because a lot of people are, you know, they're hurrying to get to class, so they don't have time to stop into the bathroom, talk to friends. There's been a lot less discipline problems in the hallways because of the 5-minute passing period.
When he learned about Oliver's unwillingness to change, Tyler Rickmeyer expressed that it is near impossible for him to get to his classes in time with the amount of books he has to carry. Signing off from Spartan TV, I'm Ryan Schmitz.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Josie.
This is Shortcuts for Life.
Halloween edition.
The students at Sentinel High School have run into a problem. The Sparta Mart will lose a very large portion of its inventory next year, effectively shutting down a very popular business in the school.
In 2015, a new law will go into effect prohibiting any foods or drinks with certain calories, sugar, and fat amounts in public schools. The government has been accused over the past few years for neglecting the school food system. 4 years ago, the Sparta Mart removed all soda from the menu to comply with the government laws. The new law, the Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, will prohibit a wide selection of foods, which will essentially shut down the Sparta Mart. Some would say the government is just using the law as a scapegoat to please the parents of the nation.
I sort of get it, but I think that the new law is just sort of a cover-up for like a CYA for just the schools, so they don't get accused of making children fat or anything like that.
The store runs as a fundraiser for the DECA program, which competes annually at national conferences. The DECA program will now require much more personal funding from the participants. Sentinel is known to have one of the most prestigious DECA programs in the nation, and at the moment, students and managers aren't sure if the club will even exist this time next year. Many of the items on the menu at Sentinel must be taken off, leaving very few items for purchase.
Unless we can find a loophole and get out of it, the sales are going to drop immensely. 90% of what we sell is stuff that we're not going to be able to sell. So our profits are going to be way down.
With the projected loss next year, Sentinel will bring less than half the amount of students to the national DECA competition.
It's going to be very difficult. We're going to have to rely a lot more on sponsorships from outside businesses.
For Spartan TV, I'm Tennyson Matthews.
The students were successful this year, earning Sentinel a Distinguished School Award due to several individuals award won by students ranging from honorable mentions to outstanding delegates.
All their combined efforts are what really earned us our Distinguished School. And Sentinel always shows up for that Distinguished School Award and Best Delegation Award, so I think the class, the university class that actually puts on the Model UN Conference, has expectations for especially the local schools to help move the conference along, and I think Sentinel does their part very, very well. And they represent Sentinel student body very well.
Senior Sari Chabot was in the top 20 senior category, an outstanding achievement for a student in MUN. Congratulations to the entire team. The journalism department is holding a Gatsby-themed fireside dance from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow night. Tickets will be sold at lunch and after school today in the gym.
For years now, rumors have been circulating about people that used to work at Sentinel. The difference, however, is that these people are no longer living, but instead lingering in the classrooms, the hallways, the theater, and the basement. It all began 4 years ago when the staff of the Kona decided they would debunk the wild tales they kept hearing from various faculty members of paranormal happenings that were occurring after the students left school. The most prominent piece of evidence during that first ghost hunt was the electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP, recorded in Cindy Schultz's computer lab that possibly captured the voice of a spirit in Sentinel named Earl Miles, who was a janitor at Sentinel.
Is there someone with us? Or if this is Earl, we are sorry for not asking about you as often. Well, that someone...
The last time the journalism students investigated Schultz's lab, they checked that all computers were off, except for Schultz's, and asked that whoever was in there to give them a sign that they were there. They constantly heard a creaking noise in the back corner behind her desk, accompanied by a hunched shadow figure, when all of a sudden the unthinkable happened.
What the?
Did you just do that? Just turn back on and off.
Did you just do that? Thank you. Could you do that again?
That same night, executive producer Michaela Gornick and lead anchor Hamilton Clement made contact with Earl himself with the Ghost Box, a modified radio that creates white noise for the spirits to speak through.
You're here? Can you say that you're here?
Oh.
In this hallway that we're sitting in, right about here, I talked to a ghost named Earl. He was just working. He ended up saying that he didn't like me, so that was kind of awkward talking to him. But yeah, there's ghosts in Sentinel. They're all over the place.
Perhaps the most compelling story of Sentinel is the legend of serial killer Wayne Nance, who is the spirit that the psychic said is supposedly in the depths of the basement, guarding a box of ghost stories that may have been used in the controversial occult literature class that Nance was allegedly in at Sentinel in the 70s. If there's any last message you'd like us to hear, now's the time. I don't want to disturb you or take anything from you. We're just going to put it back in the box. Fine. From threatening EVPs to warnings to not go to the basement, it is the most daunting place to explore at Sentinel. So whether you believe it or not, the spirits of Sentinel are making themselves known, and it's evident that they're not going away anytime soon, offering us a glimpse into Sentinel's past and keeping the legacy alive. Reporting for Spartan TV, I'm Mary DeMorris.
This fall, some of our journalists with PBS Student Reporting Labs traveled to Glacier National Park to see how global warming is affecting that environment. Citizen scientist Jessica Frindick had this to say.
I know that, according to pictures, that it's been changing drastically, how little ice is left. It's really sad.
The Citizen Science program at Glacier Park is a program where members of the community can help with recording their sightings of wildlife and changes in the park. Citizen Science Coordinator Jamie Belt says with the program being so new, the study of global warming is going rather slowly.
One of the things that is challenging with climate change research is that things don't happen really quickly. A lot of the, predictions that have been made about what climate change impacts are going to occur are just that, they're predictions.
Taking the data they have now, citizen scientists will begin to make predictions of what they will need to do in the future. However, other scientists believe changes need to be made now.
Following this for the last several years, it does seem that many of the predictions made years ago are beginning to come more and more true, and there's always variation year to year, and you can always explain it as, this is the exceptional year, but we seem to be having a lot of exceptional years.
Although the Citizen Science program is rather new, they're continuing their research to help make predictions for the park's future. Signing off from Spartan TV, this is Sawyer Morris.
Mom was watching the news, and it was a story about Tylen Page, who was killed by her stepfather. And I had walked in, and my mom was crying, and I asked her what was wrong, and she was like, well, Tylen got hurt. And I said that I wanted to take her toy and go see her. So my mom was like, well, you can't, she's in heaven now. And I said, well, I want to help her. And so my mom came up with the idea of selling pins, and we sold them for $1 a piece to raise awareness for child abuse, and we donated 1,000 to Watson's.
Gregory was called by the Dandelion Foundation to sing at an event that they were holding to raise awareness for child abuse. She went, not knowing that the event was actually planned to thank her.
I received the Jaden Gregory Hearts to Remember Award, and it was for raising awareness for child abuse 10 years ago. Gave me $1,000 to bring back to Watson's, which was another surprise. They awarded me with studio time in Great Falls, as a thank you to help pursue my dream. And then they gave me the award. And
Jaden and her mother Danelle were very humbled that their efforts have made a difference, and encourage others that no matter how big or small you think your actions are, they still make a difference. Reporting for Spartan TV, I'm Michaela Garner.
Head injuries are the leading cause of sports and recreation-related death in the United States. Dylan Steigers was just 22 years old when a hit left him with a severe head injury in May of 2010.
It appeared that he was limping off the field. I thought he'd, hurt his knee badly or whatever, and as he made his way off the field, before he got off the field, one person was helping him, then two, and by the time he got to the other sideline where they had a training table, they were basically carrying him.
Looking back into Steigers' high school football career, his parents, Tom and Cindy, think it was likely that their son also suffered from several concussions.
When he was a senior, we were playing over in Helena, and he was concussed pretty badly. And
The trainer was afraid that he would go back in the game, I think, because she took his helmet away, and he was furious. He was a tough guy, and he could take a hit, and he was proud of it.
I did take his helmet, and I stood next to him, and he kept saying, "Can I go back in? Can I go back in? No, Dylan. No, Dylan. Can I go back in? Nope. How about after halftime? Nope."
Sentinel High School athletic trainer Danielle Halko says this was just how much Steigers loved the game. After his high school career, he returned to the sport after a short break to play for Eastern Oregon University. During a spring scrimmage in May of 2010, he endured what his parents thought was a normal hit.
It exploded in a hurry. I don't know how else to say it. By the time I ran across around the end of the field and over to this training table, he was starting to convulse and go through all kinds of different
Well, and they asked
symptoms.
him the concussion
Yeah,
questions.
they were asking him questions, and they asked him, did he know where he was, and he didn't answer. I mean, he shook his head yes. They asked him several, do you know what day it is, and he shook his head yes. They asked him how old he was, and he said he was 21. And they thought, oh good, he knows how old he was. And I shook my head and I said, no, he's 22 now. He'd just turned 22 a couple months before that. So, and that was the last words he spoke.
It wasn't a concussion this time. It was a severe internal brain bleed that left him on life support in a Boise hospital.
He was taken off of life support after the relatives that were frantically trying to get there to see him, and he would have died if he wasn't on life support.
While he didn't die from a concussion, Dylan had several in his career, and there's a new realization that they can be very dangerous for athletes, especially repeated concussions. This is known as post-concussion syndrome.
And that's when you have a concussion that doesn't completely heal. Or you have a concussion and then you have another concussion on top of the first one, and those symptoms don't completely heal, and then you have long-term symptoms.
Local physical therapist Jill Olson and a team of Montana physical therapists and neurologists decided to use his tragic death to shine a light on post-concussion syndrome, forming the Dylan Steigers Concussion Project.
When we first started our concussion project, we knew we were going to meet a lot of resistance in Missoula. And after Dylan passed away, I said, unfortunately, now we're going to have our listening ear in Missoula. And Missoula is going to be very open to all that we have to say about concussions because of Dylan.
The project is dedicated to changing the way these mild traumatic brain injuries are recognized. Concussions cannot be diagnosed by a scan, but only by their long list of symptoms. Olson says this is because a chemical storm is taking place inside the brain that leads to a buildup of proteins.
Protein then starts to cloud the brain, and it resembles something very similar to Alzheimer's and dementia. And that's what's causing a lot of this this dementia that we're seeing in our pro football players. And they're actually seeing some dementia in 17-year-old football players now from the cumulative trauma of these hits that these young players are taking over and over.
The Dylan Steigers Concussion Project tests an athlete's balance, memory, and cognitive ability before a concussion. After a concussion, they use the same test to assess when the athlete's brain returns to normal and they can return to play.
Gives us as players a lot of knowledge to know when we can go back and what the symptoms are and how we should feel before we go back.
Sentinel High School senior Kagan Kalmane plays tight end and outside linebacker for the football team. He's had 2 diagnosed concussions and 1 brain hemorrhage, which resulted in his year-long retirement from football his junior year.
You know, I try to not really think about it. I mean, it still kind of scares me every time I get hit in the head if that could happen again. But I mean, with it being my senior year, I just try to not really think about it and just play the game and have fun.
The project provides the tests to athletes for little or no cost. Since 2010, the project has tested more than 1,000 athletes and helped manage 300 concussions. Tom and Cindy lent their support as well, raising money for the project, and they hope to see it expand to middle school sports this year.
It's a really positive place to put our grief. You know, our grief just could have destroyed us, and there's days that I thought it would, but this is a really good place and a positive place to put our grief.
Obviously, we don't do it for our own self-gratification or trying to build ourselves up. I myself, I always hearken back to if you can keep one other family from having to suffer the grief we have, it makes it worth it.
Having already been affected by concussions, Kamine believes it's sad that it took Dylan's death to raise awareness of sports-related head injuries.
It makes me, kind of sick to my stomach. It's a terrible thing, and it's just, it's something that happened, and it's horrible, but, I think it can end up saving a lot of people for bringing all this recognition to Missoula, especially with the project, and making sure people have to go through all these steps before they can return to play. Because I'm sure back then, a lot of people probably didn't even report their concussions. They just told coach they wanted to go back in.
I guess I'm humbled. I'm humbled that a young man would come in here and sit and talk about how he's been impacted by it, because I think football players are so tough and they just want to play and without thinking about the consequences. And it's humbling for me to think about him coming in here and saying that we will never recover. But we can do, if you can do something positive in your life to help somebody else, that's very healing.
I'm Mary DeMorris from Sentinel High School for the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs.
Hi Sentinel. Funding for the arts in public high schools has been an issue for decades. But how does it actually affect the MCPS school district? Reporter Sawyer Morris and I went on assignment to find out how it actually affects staff and faculty within Sentinel.
The art department has been maintained well, I think, through the 3 principals we've had here. I think we've been funded fairly, and I have worries and concerns, but I think that the fine arts here, whatever you would call us, the visual arts, I think we've been supported well.
Our public school systems have been supportive of the arts in general. They've been very strong for music. There are some specific lacking aspects to arts education in Missoula, and the biggest problem is the lack of arts education for our elementary students, and we're addressing that right now with a big federal project underway, because it's just embarrassing that we have 2 art teachers teaching every single K through 5 student in the district. It's a shame.
Unfortunately, and this is nationwide, not just here in Missoula, but most funding goes towards academics, obviously, but then extracurricular, a lot of the time that money goes to sports teams. So it's definitely important for fine arts to get funding. It's just we don't get much of it.
Well, very supportive of funding for all programs, including the fine arts. Unfortunately, the district has been through some tough times recently, and some of those budgets were all cut back by 5%. One of the things that we've tried to do in the building is find some private funding to help with some of that. You might have seen some banners in the gym lately. Spartan Guard has been involved. A group of parents have been out there fundraising for different groups.
Haley Gray of Sentinel High School began a new program this year called Bloody Lunch, where one Thursday a month, mainstream students get together with special needs students for lunch and activities. Haley gives us a little insight into what Buddy Lunch is.
So basically once a month I plan this giant lunch. Sorry, it's really crazy right now. And it's just for kids to get together, hang out, get to know each other a lot better. What I found is that a lot of the special needs students don't have any place that they can go during lunch, and so they just kind of hang out. So I figured this would give them a fun outlet for them to do that. It was just, I'm really passionate about the Exceptionalities program at Sentinel, so it's the mentoring program that Sentinel has for their students with special needs, and I figured this would be a great way. I actually started it because because of one of the students, Marcus. Marcus kind of just hung out all by himself at lunch, and he was one of the students that I first peer tutored. And I was like, you know, what can I do to give him something to do at lunch? Because a lot of times these kids can't go off campus. They don't feel comfortable joining regular clubs, so it was like, that's what I always do during lunch. So what can I do to give them something to do?
Buddy Lunch has developed many new relationships. Marcus Bartlett attends Buddy Lunch every month. He is here to tell us more about it.
My favorite part of the Buddy Lunch is simply when I get to go hang out with my friend Haley, and we do all kinds of fun stuff with other people. And sometimes we play board games, watch movies and stuff. It's really fun.
Buddy Lunch is affecting kids positively all throughout Sentinel. For Spartan TV, I'm Sawyer Heacock.
Hey there, Sentinel. I'm Tim DeWalt. This past summer, Dana Oliver and Mr. Kerr and Sentinel alumni took charge in getting Sentinel a new weight room. We caught up with a few of the football players and Coach Oliver to see how they feel about the new weight room and what to look forward to.
It's nice, you know, get a good lift in every now and then, every zero period.
The weight room got some major improvements with the help of the Sentinel alumni and local sponsors.
Excited, you know, it was a lot of effort by numerous people to get this project done, and I think it's generated some energy, kind of reinvigorated kids to be in the weight room, and they're taking pride and ownership of getting stronger and faster and developing.
The weight room now includes new Legend squat racks and benches, along with the new Olympic platforms with the customized Spartan logo put in the middle, built by our very own Sentinel Woods department.
It's nice to have. It's definitely a lot better than our old one. It's a big improvement. Got nice colorful weight racks in there. You know, that's always good, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
The work's still got to be done. Just because you have a facility, you still have to put in that time. But I think what the facility allows, specifically for football, is, you know, to build a team atmosphere. It allows kids to work together, and that's what this new facility was for football, was getting groups of kids together to work out.
We want to once again thank MCAT for donating equipment and resources and helping us on our way. We'd also like to thank our teachers, Jen Kintz and Matt Larson, without whom we would never get our work done, and our PBS mentors, Anna Rao and Ty C. De Silva. I'm Mary DeMorris, and we'll see you at the end of the semester with more news from Sentinel High School.